for live streaming, or your nearest radio. It's now time to listen to Connecting the Dots.
People come, let we go. Turn up the radio. Turn it up. This is the people show. No matter where we go. Connecting people. We all love you. We are here for you. We can hear you. Connecting people. People come, let we go. Turn up the radio. Turn it up. This is the people show. No matter where we go. Connect the dots, family. Connect the dots, unity. Connect the dots, for you and me. Connect the dots.
Good morning, and I just want to say good morning to each and every one of you out there, and I'm talking about St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, and even Little Water Island. And we say Little Water Island, it's all inclusive. Water Island is part of the U.S. Virgin Islands. I just wanted to say good morning again to each and every one of you, and you know, I've had a debate, and I was stopped in my tracks years ago by referring to Memorial Day as Happy Memorial Day, because and the person was correct, and it was a parent of a fallen soldier that actually said that, you know, I don't think it's appropriate a Happy Memorial Day, but of course it's debatable. However, they had a point, and I respected it, because Memorial Day, after all, what it represents, you know, what it represents is just us honoring, paying tribute to those fallen soldiers, both men and women, who actually served in the military to defend our freedom and liberties. And I think as such, you know, you have to respect those parents that of fallen soldiers that actually don't look at Memorial Day to be addressed in any way as a Happy Memorial Day. So I respect that. So we just refer to it as Memorial Day, and we thank them, those fallen soldiers. And I just wanted to pay my respect by just playing a little caption that I've put together actually this morning to disseminate in recognition of Memorial Day, honoring all those fallen soldiers. And I say both men and women, because there's been women soldiers that actually fought in the military and may have lost their lives one way or the other, different incidents that actually took place. But I think it's all appropriate that we honor each and every one of them.
It is, in a way, an odd thing to honor those who died in defense of our country, in defense of us, in wars far away. The imagination plays a trick. We see these soldiers in our mind as old and wise. We see them as something like the founding fathers, grave and gray-haired. But most of them were boys when they died, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. When they died, they gave up their chance to be husbands and fathers and grandfathers. They gave up their chance to be revered old men. They gave up everything for our country, for us. We owe them a debt we can never repay. All we can do is remember them, what they did, and why they had to be brave for us.
Yes, I just wanted to play that caption Memorial Day and just recognize those fallen soldiers and actually, we don't offer condolence, but we offer encouragement and thank the parents of those who have committed the ultimate, or actually experienced the ultimate sacrifice in losing their lives to defend our freedoms and liberties. So we thank them this morning. And while I'm along those lines, I wanted, as I usually do every Monday morning, I actually convey, extend condolences to many of those families of persons who have passed, expired. And we could say it in so many different ways. But you know, it's an experience that many of us are going to live. And you know, one of the ironies of when you look at the obituaries in the newspaper every morning, the older you get, and I've said this many, many times, the older you get, is the more people that you know are actually passing. You know, and this morning I just wanted to extend condolences to the Hobson family. First, in Miss Victoria Mead Hobson, who I've known all my life. She passed, and you know, I wanted to extend my condolences to the family because that's been like my extended family. And for many of you that live in the Anna's Retreat area, you know Miss Victoria Hobson as a mother figure in the area, actually embracing a lot of the young people in that area of Anna's Retreat, New Tutu in particular. And you know, many of her family members, and without calling all the names, because I don't want to accidentally omit any, but I wanted to extend my condolences. And she made her way, she made her contributions, valuable contributions to the community in so many different ways. And then we move on to Earl Elmo Bruley Sr., as we called him, Bruley, a fireman here in the Virgin Islands. He passed. And you know so many of these people personally. I remember Bruley playing in the Governmental Industrial Basketball League, for which I was the founder and the president of that basketball league for a number of years. And he played with the fire department. But he made his contributions as well as a fireman. Firemen actually sacrificed their lives to protect property. And I want to extend my condolences to the Bruley family. May he rest in eternal peace. And then, of course, we have Alexander Benjamin. Many of you know. And I think we called him Nyabingi. I wanted to extend my condolences to that family as well. You know, it's just been a heart-wrenching experience. And moving on, Pauline E. Parker Farrell, that I had known. I think I first met her when she worked at, some of you may not remember, Taco Bell. That was across from the former Cinema One, the movie theater, right up the street from CHS. And I remember Pauline working in there and then eventually going and working down on Main Street. And you see, you happen to know these people personally. And when I sit down and I see it, it deeply saddens me. But we know that we're all going to meet that faith, one day. We can only hope that we have committed our lives in faith to God. And, I just want to extend my condolences to that family as well, the family of Pauline E. Parker Farrell. And last but not least, Yvonne Monica Thomas. I want to extend my condolences to that family. And like I said, I know these people and the many contributions that they had made in respective areas. And it's just, the question that I asked myself this morning is, there's so many people I consider to be dying young. Are people passing at a younger age today? What is it attributed to? Is it attributed to the levels of stress, the gross neglect? What is it attributed to? Because we've been, the people of the Virgin Islands in particular, U.S. Virgin Islands, have been confronted with two disasters. Three. In this instance, you have the pandemic that was subsequent to 2 Category 5 hurricanes. And people experiencing so much stress in the Virgin Islands. Homes not built, can't get the type of assistance that they're in need of. And the list goes on and on. You know, but we're just gonna pray for the families of the Virgin Islands and hope that God can put a cloud over the Virgin Islands and heal and protect us from some of the tyrannical just circumstances that exist out there. And I'm talking about in every respect that threatens life and property, that ultimately creates a lot of stress. So my condolences to all the families out there. Folks, as I said, it's Memorial Day, and I just paid a tribute to all those fallen soldiers, those who have contributed, those who actually have toiled in so many different areas of the military, and we have to truly thank them. I congratulate all the graduates at the Virgin Islands. I know the Free Will Baptists had graduates in 15, you know, in an emotional ceremony, 15 of them that graduated. You look at all the schools that are just living that experience. I see the members of the class of 2022 from the Montessori School and Peter Gruber International Academy. I want to congratulate all of them that have excelled, and this is a new chapter in your respective lives. So make the best of it. There's endless opportunities out there, and you know, we pay our respect to all of them and congratulate all the graduates, and we encourage them more than anything else. Now moving along, you have the agricultural fair in St. Croix. They say it's fun, food, and culture this weekend, and I believe it's still going on even today. I think today is the closing part of the ceremony. I want to take this time out to even congratulate the farmers, because they're on display. They're on center stage. You got a 2022 Crop Farm of the Year in Bada Cristofonte. If I pronounced his name incorrectly, I apologize, but these are folks that need to be congratulated, that go out there day in, day out in the hot sun to cultivate and grow some crops. And they've done an excellent job there on St. Croix. And I congratulate Alfonso James as well, who is the 2022 Livestock Farm of the Year, where he has raised sheep here in the Virgin Islands, and you could say he takes great pride in what he does, you know, but they need to be commended for what they have done. And moving on, it's campaign season here in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and I'd love to see Donna Stewart is not running for any political office. I'm not saying I would never run again. I'm just saying that I sat out to be an observer just like each and every one of you, to be a voter just like each and every one of you. And this campaign season, of course, you know, they were in full force there at the agricultural fair grounds on the island of St. Croix. And I've heard different chanting, and I saw videos circulated, so you know it's campaign season. What was it? 4 more years. And then there's a large group that came along saying, no more years. And another campaign slogan. And I know there's other candidates in the field which will have to raise their voices, because the people of the Virgin Islands, I think they're now in tune with the messages that are being disseminated out into the community. So for the other candidates, you're going to have to step it up and make your voice heard. Because at the end of the day, I think people are going to weigh in on what you have to offer the people of the Virgin Islands. And if your argument, if your platform resonates with them, then maybe you might wield the level of support that is needed. But everything, it's all inclusive. So you got to pick up the pace, folks. For those candidates out there who have not really picked up the pace, it's a lot of contributing factors. And I'm speaking from experience. There's a lot of contributing factors, and that's that from website, online or internet presence, right over to visual presence, signs all over the islands, and folks, you know, the usual thing. And these are contributing factors. When you're running a serious campaign, you want to make sure that you cover the gamut of things, that you have all inclusive and you cover all the areas that contributes to a successful or effective campaign. So that's my advice just to the candidates out there. I'm going to be weighing in on the messages. I'm going to be, of course, commenting from time to time on the different things that I hear during the campaign season, during the campaign trail. And I wish all of them well. So moving on, I'm going to navigate back now to what I consider to be the bread and butter of issues here in the Virgin Islands. And I'm talking about the home repair program. And I'm going back to the home repair program because I understand that there's new leadership in the Virgin Islands Public Finance Authority. And we're expecting for an effective program to be launched under the new leadership. I'm not going to call the name of the person because I'm sitting back to see if there's going to be some level of stability and continuity in an effort to really provide the people at the Virgin Islands, those who fall in the category, those who are in need of assistance for their homes to be rebuilt. And this is something I hold near and dear. Why? Because I witness it every day. People call me when I'm traversing around the Virgin Islands. I hear the comments every day. And people are longing and hoping that something significant is going to happen because, folks, I don't know what happened with this company. I think they call it Almond, and how much Almond took out of the Virgin Islands. So we combine how much Almond took out of the Virgin Islands and how much money was actually spent in advertising and all associated costs. Because then when you add it up and you compare it to people, homes being rebuilt, what is the administrative cost versus the program and the true benefactors who should be the true benefactors receiving assistance from this program? And I believe that, and I can safely say without contradiction, that based on what I have learned and the total amount of money that was spent on administrative costs versus only 5 or 6 homes being rebuilt from 2018, that sounds like problems on the horizon. Because let me place this on record. If I understand it correctly, the federal government normally comes in and provides an audit 3 years, anywhere after 3 years, on any programs that have received federal funding. So at some point, they're going to have to step in to determine if the resources, if the funds that the territory received was adequately spent. And when I say adequately spent, that there was in fact fair dispensation. What do I mean by fair dispensation? Is nowhere in the world the administrative costs is supposed to be exceeding 35% or 40%. In this instance, it seemed like the administrative costs associated to this program is in excess of 80%. So you're saying that you paid out contracts here and there, consultants and companies to in fact do what? Manage the program? Then you're saying that there is no qualified contractors in the Virgin Islands, or they don't want to work for so cheap? Then structure the program and give or provide incentives for them. Let's be creative. Even if you have to ask the legislature to suspend a certain interest on the taxes that are required to be paid by local contractors, and that would be enticing to them for them to want to work on the program. That's an added incentive. But let's do something, because ultimately it is the people of the Virgin Islands that is falling victims to a lack of attention, to a lack of efficiency and effectiveness. So let's hope that they could get this off the ground. I'm going to go to the lines now. Although today the subject is, should veterans in America and I say the U.S. Virgin Islands receive extraordinary benefits, and I say yes, that we should provide extraordinary benefits for veterans, because understand that they were in the line of fire and they made a sacrifice for our liberty and freedoms. And yes, they fought for America, but the U.S. Virgin Islands is part of America as well. And while we still consider ourselves, well, I don't consider myself to be a second-class citizen, but I will say that in a lot of ways we're treated as second-class citizens. And I'm talking about, and we could get into that discussion sometime down the road, in terms of the dispensation of the resources that are out there. The right to vote and the President of the United States. If we're subject to a draft and the President could just call it and we're subject to a draft, why can't we vote for the President of the United States? But let me go to the telephone lines at this time. Good morning, you on the air, connect the dots.
Yeah, morning, Fonzie. This is your old line street neighbor.
Hey, how you doing?
Probably know who this is. You know who this is, right?
I'm trying to pick up the voice, but just you could say who it is.
Your old line street neighbor, man. Anyway, listen. I hear you talking about the repairs and stuff and so on.
Yeah.
I just need to find out if you have any idea as to why Park and Recreation, I know you're a frequent visitor at Cookie Point.
Yes.
The food is good as you always say, but why is the building them so dilapidated and they ain't fixing them?
Well, I'm
sure. Them where they're selling the food out of.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I know exactly what you're talking about, and in fact we were discussing that just I think about 2 weeks ago. Some of the buildings could be painted, could look a little nicer, could be spruced up, as we would say it. So I'm in line with what you're saying.
Yeah, but they even take up the rent from the hurricane time, 2017 till now, 5 years later, they ain't put one paint, one nothing down there. And they gone up on the rent. And they're charging late charge over the weekend and all kind of thing. What's going on with Park and Recreation?
Well, I think there's the commissioner down there. I think he's been doing a yeoman job, an excellent job in maintaining some of the recreational areas. And I'm sure that some of his personnel is listening this morning. So I believe that he is going to be proactive and not necessarily reactive, and maybe that's on his calendar to have done. Okay, well, this chicken, the recreation area is all right, but where they're selling the food should be the more a priority. Yeah.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I in full line with what you're saying. That's what I just said.
Okay, so then Park and Recreation, you can step up to the plate and get on the fix up.
Yeah.
They're charging money, they got up $100 on the rent.
You're absolutely right.
Nothing. They're collecting money and they ain't doing nothing.
Okay, well they need to address that issue and address it as soon as possible.
Yeah, well that's why I call you on the talk show, so somebody listening could hear and see if they could go down there and do something, because I mean, it don't make sense for them to go up on the rent. They did nothing from the last hurricane we had.
Yeah.
And they're charging an extra $100 every year they got up. So which means now they gain money and they ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why I called to voice my opinion on that.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Like I said, this is your old line street neighbor. You know it is now.
I'm trying to pick up the voice, but remember sometimes
there's a noise, man.
Sometimes the sound that comes through may put a little bass on the person's voice, or the cell phone connectivity may kind of alter your voice. That's why I'm not picking up the voice right now. But I'm sure when I sit down and I think about it, I'll probably figure out who it is.
Man, this Macado, man, you know me when you come out
of course.
All the time. I used to live right behind you. Like.
Yeah. Of course, I know who it is. I know who it is.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Okay, everything good then?
Yes, man. Thanks for calling, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Yep, you know, folks, everyone has their areas of concern, and of course this person that called is calling on behalf of even those tenants that you have down there in Cookie Point that sell food in some of the booths, some of the properties that is owned by the government. there's leases on those properties. And I believe that if there's going to be additional costs, increase in leases, that the least the government could do is maintain the properties, adequately, consistently, because that beach is frequented by a lot of tourists and actually locals. So there's going to be a degree of wear and tear on the property, unlike a lot of other places. And I mean, there's more wear and tear on some of those buildings in Cokey Point because of the number of people that come through there than any other place. So he had a good point, and I thank him for calling on behalf of those people down on Cokey Point, those tenants of the Sports Park and Recreation Department as well. So thank him for calling. Moving along on the program this morning, I felt and I feel that is fitting to discuss, should veterans in America, and I say the U.S. Virgin Islands, receive extraordinary benefits. And some of the questions that I wanted to ask in that vein is, are enough home ownerships available for them? There should be no veteran on the street. None of them. None of them should be on the street. And I'm talking about inclusive, who may have PTSD, who may have lost their minds, have mental issues, or who may have been displaced for whatever other reason. There should be home ownership at a greater level for them. So that question that I ask is, are there enough home ownerships available for veterans in the U.S. Virgin Islands? Are veterans satisfied with the level of opportunities? Because you see, when you come out of the military and you see them in the States, it's not just here in the U.S. Virgin Islands that we're experiencing or we witness veterans who are, for whatever reason, displaced. But the question is whether or not they are satisfied with the current conditions here in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And I expand it to example. For example, are veterans deserving of discounted programs? The same way you have the senior citizens that should be entitled to at least 10% discount, is the same way I believe that veterans should be entitled to a discount. You're talking about an individual who sacrificed their lives. Going to the military, wasn't sure to come back home. They should have benefits as well. Let me go to the telephone line. Good morning, you on the air. Connect the dots.
Fonzie,
Yes, sir.
this your good friend from St. John, right?
Hey, how you doing?
4 years ago, you reached out to shake my hand, but I couldn't see you because of blind. You remember?
I didn't hear that part. What was the last part of what you said?
No, 4 years ago, you were running, right?
Yeah.
You reached out to shake my hand, right?
Yes.
But my vision can.
Oh, that's okay though. Yeah, but I don't take them things personal. I always know that.
No, but I don't, because
Yeah.
you can use love alone.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your brother go up here with us, play
Yeah.
music.
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah, man. So I just want to let you know, hey, it's all love, I'm a blind man now. So that's why I couldn't really touch your hand.
Yeah, yeah.
So my cousin tell me, you reach out to shake my hand.
Yeah.
I shall tell me, because he don't tell me where's about shaking my hand.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I don't take it personal because, sometimes it could be a lot of contributing reasons why a person may not have operated normal. For example, people have a lot of things on their mind. I walk the street and I would say hello to some people and they don't say hello, whether it's good morning, good afternoon, or whatever it is. And people at times are so distracted and maybe experiencing a lot of hardship in their respective lives. So I don't take it personal because you don't know what, in your case, it's a health reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying you never know what the circumstances are. So,
No, man, with me,
yeah.
with
But
me
I
and
appreciate you calling.
with me and you is all love.
Yeah.
All love, man. All
I
right, bless.
I was up there on Saturday. I didn't see you. But I was up there on Saturday, had lunch and stuff. I had some nice lunch.
Yeah, man, anytime you see your boy again, and you can say, hey, this one, see.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Come
Yeah.
on, I said, you don't go no more.
That I'm gonna grab you the next time.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Love is love. Love is love.
All right, man. You take care of yourself and talk to you again soon.
All right. Stay
Oh,
blessed.
okay, take care. Yeah, you know, I appreciate that person calling in. And you know, when somebody could step back, just someone told him that I did reach out to shake his hand, as I normally do with a lot of folks. And you know, I wouldn't take it personal. And folks, I would say to each and every one of you out there listening, sometimes you say good morning to people. Sometimes you say good afternoon and you don't hear a response. Don't be too quick to assume anything, because you never know what that person is going through. And if you see them again, you say good morning again, and if you see they look at you, then maybe you have a reason to say, well, maybe you have to respect their disposition at that time. But let's not assume, and I'm happy that he could step backwards and call in the program this morning, and you know, and extend our apology, and our apology is accepted. And like I said, I didn't take it personal. Moving on with this thing with the veterans again, and I'm hoping some veteran or a veteran could call in this morning to express themselves. Next question that I wanted to ask about veterans is, are veterans receiving good health care services in the VI? Because I have friends who are veterans, and I hear it over and over that they normally go to Puerto Rico to the vet center or the vet hospital to receive assistance. But I ask the question if they've been receiving good health care, decent health care here in the Virgin Islands, and those are questions to ask. Are Virgin Islands veterans happy in general? Are they happy? We celebrate today Memorial Day, and of course veterans are coming out. And for those veterans who are alive, well, the military personnel who passed, we honor them today for their contributions, and they have passed through 2 lifetimes, what they could have been and what they were. And as we pay our respects, I thought that it was fitting to bring up this morning the benefits for veterans in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And I know that you have a lot of places, a lot of states, a lot of different jurisdictions under the U.S. flag that often champion causes for veterans. I don't like to see a veteran displaced. I don't like to see a veteran homeless. Why? Because they lived a life or an experience that could have gone one of 2 ways. And it went on the upside that they were able to return to the United States, and you can only hope that the United States system is structured as such that it provides benefits, extraordinary benefits for veterans. And I'm speaking of the U.S. Virgin Islands here now, that senators, the governor, all the leadership has the opportunity, have at their fingertips the authority to make a contributions to enhance conditions for veterans in the Virgin Islands. And whatever program it is, and again, I encourage veterans or any vet to call in and express anything that they want to express. You know, I have on my Facebook live feed this morning, the background is a beach scene. And as you heard me say earlier, I don't feel, and I was corrected years ago, that not everyone would embrace you saying Happy Memorial Day, because Memorial Day is not a happy day for a lot of people. And I'm talking about the parents and family members of those who fell in the war. that didn't return home. A lot of these men and women didn't even live of half of a life, much less a full life. That they were they were 18 and 19, 20 years of age on the firing line out to war. And they didn't make it back home. And for those who made it back home, you ask the question, what did they come back home to? And that's where this discussion comes. Are they benefiting? Are they being rewarded for their contribution? For putting their life on the line? And I've asked multiple questions, several questions. And that's for you, the public. This is your platform. This is your opportunity to call in, your opportunity to contribute. But I know that there are a lot of folks on the beach today, which is a tradition here in the U.S. Virgin Islands. For those who are not over to the agricultural fairgrounds, to those who take the time out to go on the beach, relax, and reflect. And for those viewing in the United States, and I say Virgin Islands near and far, those in the United States, I know that you wish you were here in the U.S. Virgin Islands and having the opportunity to enjoy our ambience, sun, sand, and sea here in the Virgin Islands. But you always have your chance to come back home and visit. But you know, something that I've noticed is so many of us take it for granted. We live right here in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and you ask yourself the question, when last have you been to the beach? I'll raise my hand. I may have taken it for granted as well. I go on the beach every once in a while, not necessarily always to swim, but sometimes to attend a beach party, go and interact with my friends. But it's just a beautiful and therapeutic setting that you could go on the Virgin Islands and, go on the beaches and listen to those waves crash against the rocks or come ashore and go back. It's a special sound. It is a therapy. Try it one day. Just go out, sit down and relax. So for those of you who are just on the beach, relaxing, don't forget to honor those who have fallen. Today is Memorial Day, and we must reflect on the sacrifice that many of them have made. And I can't repeat it enough because we take it lightly, and this was something serious. Good morning, you on the air, connect the dots.
Yes, good morning, Fonzie. This is Rigo.
Hey, Rigo, what's up?
Okay, I was calling to congratulate all veterans on Memorial Day. And thank you all very much for the great sacrifice that you have made for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I'm sure that a lot of the parents, a lot of family members are listening.
Yes, because when I look at the DVDs on World War II, World War I,
yeah,
North Korea, it's very touching.
Yeah.
Very touching.
It is. And you know, if it's when you look at, and let me tell you what grabs me in particular. When you look and you start to read the list of those fallen soldiers, and you start looking at their birth dates and when they died, when they passed, a lot of them were kids.
Yes, young men.
Yeah, a lot of them were young men. I shouldn't say kids. A lot of them were young. They were still considered children to their parents. 21, 19, 18, 22, 25. Young men and women. And you know, it's I could only imagine what the families have had to live with. And that's why it wasn't difficult when someone stopped me in my tracks, because I had posted on social media, Happy Memorial Day. And they inboxed me, and I entertained the conversation, and they were absolutely right. How you tell a parent, Happy Memorial Day? Memorial Day is a day to reflect. Memorial Day is a day that parents and family members reflect on their children and family member who actually passed defending the country, died defending the country, the ultimate sacrifice. So we pay them tribute.
That's why we could enjoy democracy in
Yes.
a manner. And I have a daughter. She's been to Afghanistan 3 times. She's a police officer, but she's a sergeant in the National Guard. And you know, it's very touching when it comes to Memorial Day, because when you look at the great sacrifice, as you did mention, that the younger individual have made for us,
Yeah.
it could bring tears to your eyes.
Yeah. Yep.
So, Fonzie, you have a good day, and thank you very much for the time.
Okay, and thank you for calling.
Okay.
You know, I remember as a kid, my mother having a cousin that went to the military. His name was Papito, and Papito died in war and never returned. And I heard of the stories of how the family, his mother, and all the family members were grieving because he was quite integrated. He was quite connected with all the family members. And, you know, to know that you're not going to ever see that person again, to know and it's even harder to know that they didn't live a full life. They didn't have a chance to really, really enjoy life. They didn't have a chance to return back home and enjoy the benefit that comes with being in the military. So I say to each and every one of you out there who may not have a family member that was in the military, who may not have a family member or a child that fell or died while in war, you know, that to pray for the others. So if you see a veteran, you know, thank them for what they have done. It's not Veterans Day, but still thank them. And thank the family members, extended families of those who have fallen. You know, because I can't begin to relate to how it would feel if I was a child and my father went to the military, or my mother went to the military and she never came back home. And I had to live the rest of my life without a mother or a father. To have a father that's military, did his time, made his contribution. He was a paratrooper, but he was able to return back home. But today is Memorial Day, and as we reflect on them, if you know anyone that has lost a child, husband, wife, any kind of family member in the military, thank them. Express it, because I'm quite sure that they will appreciate the recognition that they went to war to defend our freedom and liberties, to ensure that democracy, as we see it, continue to exist in perpetuity. Because we're going back to so many wars, back to perhaps even the early 1900s, 1800s. And I think I shared with you that, you know, this Memorial Day that we celebrate, it's observed on the last Monday of May. It was formally observed on May 30th from 1868 to 1970. And it still goes on, so it's going to be in perpetuity. So folks, if you see someone, just say something. And again, I just wanted to go back here and in an associated subject, that of veterans, just to thank you for your contributions. Thank you for defending our freedom. Thank you for putting your life on the line. And thank those, especially on this Memorial Day, that sacrificed themselves to keep our liberty and freedom. So, what are we doing for them? I can't say that enough. And of course, folks, it's 10:44 a.m. in the morning here in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And we're quickly approaching the end of the hour. And the telephone lines, of course, is still open for anyone that wants to call in, express themselves on this Memorial Day. But the discussion is on veterans and the benefits that veterans receive in the Virgin Islands. And that's why I wanted to provide this platform to any veterans that wanted to call in and express themselves on the subject as to whether or not they feel that the benefits that exist in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and I would say extended benefits, not those just solely assured by federal statutes. But let me go to the telephone line. Good morning, you're on the air. Connect the dots.
Good morning, bless Memorial Day to one and all. One thing, do you know, did you know that per capita, the Virgin Islands of the United States has and still have more individuals serving in the military than any state in the Union?
I didn't know that.
Okay.
I understand what you're
That
saying.
is correct. That we, as Virgin Islanders, should be proud of our people.
Yeah.
We have sent so many young people to the military. You understand? Than any state in the world. So they should be saying God bless the Virgin Islands.
And that includes the National Guard, correct?
Everything, yes.
Yeah.
Everything, including all the military personnel. We, the Virgin Islands of the United States, have more people serving in the military than any state in the U.S.
Per capita.
See?
Yes.
But that was my piece for Memorial Day. And bless Memorial Day to one and all. God bless the soldiers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that every
Thank
family
you, sir.
listening to you is thanking you as well.
Thank you. All right. Take care.
Thank you. Well, I have to thank that person. I didn't even know, and that's where statistics come in, that there's more people that served. We have more persons in the military per capita than any other state. And that's an interesting statistic. I didn't know that. And when you think about it, based on our population, of course, the number of people or the percentage of people that come or serve in the military from the Virgin Islands apparently is significant if you're going to break it down per capita. We're not saying in terms of total numbers, but per capita means per every 50,000, if you want calculated, or per every 100,000 in that respective population. And that's an interesting statistic, and I'd like to thank them for sharing that with us. So again, the number to call here at WSTA is 340-774-1340 here at WSTA, Lucky 13. And moving on with the program, I want to take this opportunity to thank my sponsors, Catch of the Day, located down on Cookie Point Beach, that you hear me talking about quite often with the special dishes that they have. Fresh lobster, fresh conch when it's in season, and even fresh whelks when it's in season. But they also serve surf and turf. They're on Cookie Point Beach. Again, it's Catch of the Day. And of course, the Meetup, located across or right next to the movie theaters, Caribbean Cinemas, and right next to Cosulus as well, where you ask for your favorite cook, Struggle, who's in the kitchen, and he provides, excellent cook with more than 28 years of experience. They're cooking at different establishments, but it's the Meetup. The ambience is such a perfect ambience. Sit down and watch sports, and of course, listen to some nice, soft music on some nights. So I wanted to recognize those sponsors as well as my company as well, Fine Print Consulting Services, that provides basic services. If you need letter written, speech writing, but consultation for mid-sized, large businesses, and we have even stepped back small businesses that need more help than anything else. It's Fine Print Consulting Services here to serve you, where I serve as president and CEO of that consulting firm. So on this bright Monday morning, we say Memorial Day, as we recognize all those fallen soldiers, but want to thank all the families for allowing them to serve. Yes, they paid the ultimate price, but we don't think that it went in vain. It went to defend this country and protect our liberty and freedom. So, thank you, folks. And as we move on in the discussion this morning, again, I'm saying it's about, you know, those veterans out there who may not feel that they're receiving adequate, any kind of adequate service in the Virgin Islands or benefits. They don't feel that the benefits is up to par. And you know, let me explain to you how this works. The federal government, by way of the United States Senate, two houses, the United States Senate and United States Congress, may decide to deliberate and put in enabling legislation different benefits for veterans and for other programs, of course. But we're talking about veterans this morning now. And on this level, the local level, the Senate or the governor can send initiatives down to the Senate to put in place additional benefits for veterans. For example, if they wanted to provide free tuition to all veterans down at the University of the Virgin Islands, they can put that in law. Yes, folks, they can put that in law. If they wanted to separate parcels of land for veterans at affordable costs and only veterans can buy them, they can do that. And I think that we should be doing more for veterans. A vet center, a veteran museum, and I could go on and on at this level. I mean, where can one go to see the pictures of all the veterans or all the military personnel who have fell victim anywhere? I mean, in action, in any war. Where can we go? Do we have a publication with all the pictures in there? Someone enlighten me, because I certainly don't know of any central place or any one place that you can go to get or read on all the individuals who have fell in wars. I don't know where I could get that in the library. I don't recall the library ever having any catalog of all those who have fallen. So there are several things that we can do on the local level to keep people apprised, because some folks like myself would want to offer commentary and may have want to do some kind of narrative to be distributed on social media with the picture and the dates, and also, and I'm talking about the date of birth and when they served in the war, paying tribute to each and every one of them. Because we know that Memorial Day today recognizes those who are falling. But the contributions, it was the ultimate sacrifice. And I think that Memorial Day serves a purpose. And again, we thank those families out there. I'm here reading, and I stand corrected. I have a friend on social media, John Watley. John provides me with any memorial celebration must include the falling of 1973, 1848, and 1878. Freedom is not free. That's what he puts. And you know, he's so right. Because you got to fight for freedom. And there's a reason that in some of those wars we went to wars, because after all, we live in a democracy and not a dictatorship. And if we allow for some of the dictatorship that it's often considered to be bullying or bullies, and they were to decide that America is weak and decide to invade America, who stops it? Our soldiers stops it. So our military personnel, They're there for a reason. Could you imagine? It is no different from having, none of us could imagine not having any police to police our streets. Imagine not having any soldiers to go to war to defend our country. You know what that would be like? We sit here, we look at CNN, we look at Fox News, we look at the reporting on CNN and these news outlets, the Ukrainians and what they're going through. Good morning, you on the air, connect the dots.
Good morning, Mr. Minister.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, things are not exactly as you think. I remember a lady with her children, all girls except one boy, and their dad broke because the father deserted them. And the boy decided to go to the military.
Yeah.
The military refused him because at that time, during the war, the military was not accepting Virgin Islanders.
Wow.
So you know what he did?
What?
He stowed away on a ship and he got to New York and then he joined the military in New York.
Wow.
You understand? So going to the military was like getting a job that will pay you.
Yeah.
That's how it was in and this is World War II. World War I, it was even worse.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's more in the matter than the peso.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us.
Right.
Okay. All right. No, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that in World War I, World War II, as the caller just indicated, that they were rejecting Virgin Islanders from being able to join the military, and of course, some of the candidates or persons that was availing themselves and wanted to join the military to serve in the army was doing it for different reasons. In this case, you had the young man that decided to serve not only the country, but to serve his family as well, to be able to go and earn an income to support his family. You could only imagine how many families fell in that predicament. And for those soldiers that didn't return home, how did the family survive? If it was the only boy in the family, how did the mother feel? I mean, there's so many different experiences that we can talk about. And this is why for every soldier that have fallen, that fought in the military, you know, I went all the way to Italy. Do you know that there's a United States cemetery in Florence, Italy? And when I went to Florence, Italy, and I went to that graveyard and I read the names on the wall, I couldn't believe that they were Virgin Islanders. Well, at least persons with the last name that was connected to the Virgin Islands. I couldn't tell you any direct correlation or connection, but I mean, and a lot of young soldiers. But we pay them tribute this morning, and it's all fitting on Memorial Day to recognize their contribution and what they did for us in protecting our freedom. You know, so I thank them, and I'm almost to the end of the hour, and I just wanted to play commercials for my sponsors, to thank them as well for in fact making this program possible, and they make this program possible every Monday morning, same time from 10 to 11 a.m. Monday mornings, here live on WSTA Lucky 13. So I thank them, and I thank you more than anyone else for listening and tuning in. So let me just reflect and play the commercials for a couple of my sponsors. in thanking them for having.
Is catch of the day. From the water to the pot to your mouth, everything is fresh at Catch of the Day, located on Cookie Point Beach. Enjoy some of your favorite seafood dishes, fresh catch, lobster, tank, and whelks when in season, as well as surf and turf. They cater to your wishes. While you sit and wait for your food, enjoy the friendly bar and bask in the ambience that is second to none. Enjoy the white sand, sun, and crystal blue water. We are sure the experience will be unique. Monday through Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come and enjoy Catch of the Day on Cookie Point Beach.